From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 1981, these are the Ham Nation headlines for Wednesday, October 21st, 2015. The team of T-42US, operating October 24th and 25th from Havana, Cuba, won't be just another group of competitors in the CQ Worldwide SSB contest. They're a historic collective of radio ambassadors, a partnership of American and Cuban hams whose joint effort symbolizes the newfound ease in relations between the two nations. Jim Milner, WB2REM, is the U.S. team leader.
This is totally a non-political sort of operation. We as ham radio operators are diplomats. It's just a perfect opportunity to get in there and to present a good side of the American people through ham radio. I approached the Treasury Department for a general license, and within a few weeks, surprisingly, they granted it under exhibition status. There's different levels that you can go there, at least at this time. One of them was competition. The competition that we thought would be appropriate would be the CQ Worldwide DX Contest, SSB, in October. So once I had that permission, I had the obstacle of trying to find out how to get there and to find someone that might sponsor me down there. And I really had no idea how to go about it. Just by luck, I hit the vice president of the FRC, the Federation de Radio Aficionados Cuba. He contacted the president of the organization, Mr. Rodriguez. And at the same time, I enlisted the help of K1ZZ, Dave Sumner, CEO of the ARRL. And he sent a personal letter of recommendation to Mr. Rodriguez on my behalf. He, in turn, put me in touch with Roberto Barro, CM2KL. We decided on the call Tango 42 US, which we also have a website, tango42us.com, which has a lot of the information of our expedition on that website.
Thanks to Hap Holly, KC9RP, and the Rain Report for that audio. Again, the website is T42us.com. Pope Francis' visit to Washington, D.C., New York, and Philadelphia drew big crowds and lots of close encounters with the leader of the world's 1.2 billion Roman Catholics. It also made quite an impact on the ham bands.
The number of contacts were really incredible. The band conditions weren't that great while the event went on, or we probably would have made more.
That's Jim Nitzberg, WX3B from the Potomac Valley Radio Club, one of the coordinators of the special event stations put on the air by amateurs in the Mid-Atlantic region.
The number of contacts that we made are just shy of 27,000, and that's on a various array of high-frequency bands, VHF bands, internet/ham radio communications, satellite communications, and Earth-Moon-Earth communications.
He says there was a lot of interest in the Pope's special event stations. Once they hit the air September 22nd, they were on the air until the Pope was wheels up out of Philadelphia on September 27th. Even the Vatican station got on the air for a short period to take part.
I saw them active on our DX spotting networks, and they were on 17 meters. It was during one of the last days of the event, so that must have been really exciting for those that got to make contact with them.
Now it's time to begin answering all the requests for QSLs and certificates.
We have several hundred requests for cards, several hundred award certificates that have been printed already.
For the Amateur Radio Newsline, I'm Mark Abramovich, NT3V in Philadelphia.
You'll find a link to QSL information in the printed edition of this week's Amateur Radio Newsline Report. The ARRL is listening for a clear signal from the FCC that it's okay for hams to modify non-amateur equipment to use on the air, especially Wi-Fi network devices. Skeeter Nash, N5ASH.
Recently proposed FCC rules affecting the authorization of RF equipment has spurred concern in some corners of the amateur community that these rules would restrict or prevent hams from going on the air with equipment they'd modified. The ARRL comments say, in part, quote, "The amateur radio service has a very long tradition of modification and adaptation of commercial communications equipment," end quote. The league also pressed the FCC against limiting software-defined radios to SDRs intended for use exclusively in the amateur radio service.
Ham radio operators who responded last April to the devastating earthquake in Nepal still haven't forgotten the scenes of devastation in that Himalayan nation. Again, here's Skeeter Nash.
And they are sharing the drama of that damage and the successful rescue work by recreating that experience during a puja, or Hindu worship gathering, in Kolkata. Members of the West Bengal Radio Club will demonstrate how ham operations assisted the distressed area on April 25th and how the radio amateurs' operations in the days afterward helped restore stability. Organizers say the experience will be recreated with a simulated earthquake of a very low magnitude, courtesy of special light and sound effects, accompanied by vibrating motors. Says Anupam Das, one of the organizers, quote, "As one steps into the tunnel at the entrance, they will feel slight tremors. When they pass through, a scene of devastation will lie before them. But our theme is not the damage itself, rather, how India helped Nepal in rescue and relief. Our theme is humanity, end quote. The Amateur Radio Club's secretary, Ambarish Nag Biswas, says amateurs who were present to assist in the search and rescue in Nepal will be conducting the live demonstration. The quake caused widespread damage and was responsible for the deaths of thousands.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news for over 37 years and counting at www.arnewsline.org. With Jim Milner, WB2REM, Skeeter Nash, N5ASH, Mark Abramovich, NT3V, and Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York. I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 73. We'll see you next time here on Ham Nation.